Hey BookTube, it's Samantha and I'm finally back from my little trip. It was definitely more of a hiatus than I thought it would be off the channel, so be prepared for like a lot of videos in the next week or two because I haven't filmed and I need to put up the videos because I keep on thinking of things to do a video on, and then I was like literally on the other side of the country. I am editing the footage together of my South Carolina trip, so you'll probably get a little spoilery maybe about this video, but I will be posting that either before or after this, so maybe it won't be a spoiler. We'll find out. It depends on what I feel like editing together, this video or the trip video. So we'll find out. So today, as you saw in the title, we're gonna be doing my June TBR and then also letting you know about a readathon I'm gonna be doing this month. And then we're also gonna talk about some other books that are on my radar and some books that fell off my radar. So here we go. First of all, let's talk about the readathon. So from June 1st to June 30th is the Currently Reading-a-thon that is created and hosted by Novel Serendipity. And it's basically what it says. You are just aiming to read and finish the books that you are currently reading right now. For me, that is 3 books, which I'm pretty impressed, not gonna lie. Usually it's like 5 or 6. So I'm glad that the list is shorter than I thought it would be. So we're gonna talk about the books I'm currently reading and my action plan. The first book is gonna be the one that may or may not be a spoiler depending on what I put on first, and that is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I am almost halfway. Maybe that's being a little more like a third. I'm a third of the way through. I'm really loving this. I'm so glad I'm loving it. It's very heavy on the character development that I love from Stephen King, but it also has a lot of those creepy elements. It has that great vibe to it, and I am just so ready for this. I am glad that I started this because I have so much Stephen King to get through. I'm curious to see if it's going to be a favorite up there with Misery and Gunslinger. So I'll keep you updated, but I really don't think I'm going to have a problem getting through this. Next book on my Currently Reading-a-thon list, Clash of Kings. I need to get through this book, you guys. Like, I have picked up this book 3 times in my life, and 2 of those times I didn't finish it. I have to finish it. Like, look, I just have to read this. That's all. That's all. I tried to put the audiobook on hold again because, you know, it really worked for me the first time around. Guys, it's 8 weeks until I could get the book back. And that's if people don't return it early. You can't hold on to it longer because it's digital, so it automatically gets returned on time. But still, like 8 weeks? No. Currently Reading-a-thon says I need to finish it this month. So, reading the book it is. I'm on page 750 exactly. Let's see how many pages are in the book. Ooh. Okay. Okay. 969 pages. So math says I have about 220 pages left to read of this. I know it looks like a lot more, but a lot of this part is the appendix, talking about all the different families and the people, basically the character list. And then at the very end is a little bit of a prequel of the 3rd book. 220 pages, I can do it, right? Right? Please leave encouragement down below to finish this book because it needs to happen. Okay, way too long talking about that. 3rd book, you probably already know, so let's just talk about it. I don't have it with me because I had to return it, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I went to the library today, as you'll see by part of my TBR, and I tried to talk to the librarian to try and recheck it out, and she's like, well, we have to check it back in to see if there's any holds on the book, and then if there's not, of course, you can check it back out. I'm like, okay. Guys, there's literally one person requesting the book, and they have like 13 copies of the book throughout all the different branches of LA, but because this person had requested it from our branch, I had to turn it back in. I'm fine. So my plan is I'm going to keep an eye out, but I haven't done my birthday book shopping yet. So I'm like 95% sure that I'm going to go buy the book at the store. If they don't have the book, I guess I'll have to order it online. I don't know, guys, but I have to finish this book. I don't know why I've been putting it off. So again, Currently Reading-a-thon is perfect timing because I need to get through these 2 books. I just need to finish them. Let's not drag this out any longer than we have to, like I am with this video. Let's get her done. Oh God, did I really say that? I'm so sorry. My eye was showing. Sorry. Next book I think I'm gonna try to get to is The Invisible Code by Christopher Fowler. I know I was like super stoked about reading this, and I still am, but as you'll find when watching these videos, my interest in books is like a roller coaster. Sometimes I can be interested in a book for a longer period of time, and sometimes it's more up and down. And this is kind of going on the down slope, but I remember how short the chapter was. So it's just like, I think I'm going to give it a little more of a try before I return it to the library. But if I'm just not in the mood for it, I'll return it to the library, but I definitely want to finish it at some point. Just don't know when. Maybe it'll be this month. Technically, I've started this book because I read 1 chapter. So I kind of have to finish it because Currently Reading-a-thon says I need to. There we go. That ended that debate. I'm reading this book this month, so we'll find out how I get through it. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad, right? This one, we'll see what happens. But I was asked by the author to read and review this book. And I'm not getting paid for it or anything. He gave me this book, which is book 2 of the Caledon saga, and it's called Leaping Wolf by J.P. Harker. Now, you're probably wondering why I got book 2 instead of book 1. And actually, I thought it was very kind of the author. He asked me first if I wanted to read book 1, which is the main character of the first one is a female. She's a strong female, and she overcomes a lot of obstacles and just has to fight to survive, which I like that concept. But the author was very open at the very beginning that there were themes of sexual assault in there. I told him that that's a huge trigger for me, and he completely understood, and I thank the author for being upfront about it. So he offered the second book, which he said is kind of its own story. It involves a couple characters from the previous book, but it's kind of its own book. So I was like, you know, I'm willing to try it. You know, I appreciate you being upfront about the first book. So, you know, might as well try to help him out. It is kind of dense. Type is not that bad. It's a little over, oh, and no, it's longer than that. Okay. It's about, oh gosh. At first I'm like, oh, it's about 500. And I'm like, no, there's 550. No, it's 600 pages. So we'll see. I'm going to try it. I want to try and give a fair review of the book and give it a fair shot. I have no idea if this is going to be my alley or not. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of violence in it, which I'm cool with violence. It was just the sexual assault thing in the first book. I'm like, mm-mm. So, I don't know. We'll find out. So now I'm going to talk about the books that I'm going to put on hold for the moment, because I just want to acknowledge that I know I've talked about these in the past, and I just want to put it out there for all y'all so we're all on the same page of where I'm at in books, and it's not like, oh, you were talking about that one book before, where, you know, did you actually read it? What happened? I'll get there. Okay. So I'm going to go over these very briefly. If you want more information about these books, you can check out my previous TBRs. Usually I leave a link for the book as well. So if you want to do that too, just go directly to the source and go for it. So very quickly, Mark of Athena, which is book 3 of the Heroes of Olympus series. I'm going to put this to the side for now. I just not quite in the mood for this book at the moment. Fear Street Cheerleaders, the third evil. I am probably going to just return this one, just get through the second one first, because I'm definitely not binge reading these books. I'm like reading one at a time and then taking a break and then read another. So might as well just turn it in. It's going to be at the library, so I'll just get it when I'm in the mood for it. And then third, Clariel by Garth Nix. I know I've been saying that I really want to read this book and I want to finish the series this year. I understand, but I'm not in the mood for this. Again, one of these things, and it's at the bottom right now, and I know it'll go back up. Hopefully it'll go back up before the end of the year. I'm not in the mood for this at the moment, so I'm gonna return it and probably pick it up again at a later time. So I also forgot to mention, I'm editing this back in. I'm also not going to be reading A Monster Calls this month, just because I know it's going to be sad, as I talked about in my previous video, and it's my birthday month. I shouldn't be sad in my birthday month. So I'm just going to put this on hold for now. Whether I'll ever be in the mood for it, I don't know. I don't know. I get that it's beautiful writing, but I can't go there. I don't want to be sad. So I'm not going to be reading this book this month. So yeah. So now we're going to talk about the books that I hauled from the library today, because, you know, I can't just go to the library to return books. Who does that? Not me. I have to go drop off books so that I can get like double the amount that I returned, because that's just how I do this. The first book I actually never heard of before. I was watching a video by Dancing Lawn, and I'll leave her video and information down below. She was talking about, I want to say it was like 5 books with empowering women or something to that degree. Like I said, I'll leave the link for the video down below, but she talked about these 5 different books that she was really wanting to read, and I'm all about reading of main characters that are women, empowering, whatnot. And she talked about Elias Grace by Margaret Atwood, and it sounded really interesting to me, so I asked if she would be willing to buddy read the book, and she said, yeah, just let me know when you get your hands on a copy and we can read it together. So I have my hands on a copy. I haven't reached out to her yet because I literally just got back from the library like a half hour ago. So I'm going to reach out to her, see if she wants to start this. If she does, awesome. We'll buddy read it. If she's not ready for it, I'll put it to the side, but at least I know that they have a copy at my library. A little bit about this book. So what I found interesting about this book is that it's about this woman who is on trial for the murder of her boss and his housekeeper and mistress. So she's on trial for the murder of 3 people, and she claims that she doesn't remember the events or what happened at that time whatsoever. So she's on trial in terms of to see if she actually did commit the murders, if she's suffering from a mental illness, like what is going on. So the way that it kind of sounds like to me is that it really talks about a discussion of mental illness and how women were treated. I don't know when this is set, but it definitely has like a mid 1800s vibe to me. So I think it's just a really interesting discussion about women back then. So I'm excited about getting to read this. And actually, this is my first Margaret Atwood as well. I haven't read The Handmaid's Tale at all. I haven't read any of her other works. So I'm curious to see what I think of her as an author. And if we get to this month, I'll let you know my thoughts. Speaking of powerful women, this is a book that I heard about a while ago, and it's just been on my radar. And I just feel in the mood for this, so I figured I might as well pick it up. And that is The Power by Naomi Alderman. So if you haven't heard about this book, it's basically something happens where all the teenage girls and women in the world have this power to either inflict serious, excruciating pain or to kill people. And so the whole way that the world works completely changes, because instead of men being in power and control, now women are in control because they can literally hurt or kill people. So I thought it was an interesting perspective and just kind of more of a philosophical read of like, well, how would things be different if women were in power? Would they use this power in a negative way, or would they use it for good? There's been multiple studies done. The most famous one with why can I not think of the name? The jail study where I want to say Zambroni. Something with a Z. I'll put his name there. But a professor had done a study with his college students where he put some of them as prisoners and the others as prison guards, and he just kind of let them do their thing, just run the prison without any interaction from adult presence whatsoever. And they had to actually cut the study short because it was getting so out of control, where people were being starved, they were being humiliated, they were being beaten. There was a lot of different things. It's a really interesting study. So I'll try to leave some information down below about it. But I'm kind of curious if those topics are going to come up with this book. So I'm interested to see where this book goes. I'm hoping it's good. I haven't heard anything about it from anyone, so we'll find out. So honestly, with this next book, I honestly don't know if I'm going to like it or not. I really don't. It's quite possible that I'm not going to like it. So I'm probably going to try a little bit of it. We'll just see. I kind of was just more intrigued about the cover. And that is The Care and Feeding of Ravenously Hungry Girls by Anissa Gray. From what I understand of the book is that there's these three sisters. So the oldest sister, who's like the matriarch of the family, and her husband are arrested. The blurb doesn't say for what crime, but I'm sure we're going to find out. And they go through a trial, and it's just about family and what happens when a very high respected family just goes down the tubes and is now viewed as basically trash. I was just looking, I mean, look at the spine and look at the cover. It's just gorgeous. And I just realized that it's like 3 heads on the cover. So it's just, or 4. Do you want to call it? Yeah, that's definitely 4. So I really like that as well. So we'll see. I mean, it's not too long of a book. It's kind of reminded me a little bit of My Sister the Serial. Oh my God. Words, work. Okay, sorry. It's kind of reminding me of My Sister the Serial Killer, which I liked the book, but I felt like it could have done more. So maybe this will be something similar, but we'll take it to the place that I was hoping My Sister the Serial Killer would have gone. So we'll see. The last book on my list, legit, I don't know how this is gonna work. I literally, okay, when I was looking on the shelves at the library, I saw this. No Rest for the Dead, a novel, not short stories, a novel, and then I see all these authors' names, like Sandra Brown, R.L. Stine, Diana Gabaldon, and I'm like, are you sure it's not short stories? And I look again, it says clearly a novel. And it's 26 writers, one mystery. So I flipped through and literally like the prologue is written by one author and then chapter one, and then chapter 1 is written by a different author, chapter 2 by a different one, and it's all one mystery, one story that apparently seamlessly works together. I mean, we'll see if it's seamless, but I actually read the blurb a little bit too, and it sounded interesting. Like, even if it was written by just one author, sounded pretty good. So I'm curious if this is going to work. I'll let you know. If you've read this book before, let me know if you liked it or not. Don't really give out any spoilers, obviously, but just let me know if you enjoyed it or not. I'm very curious to see if this actually works. And that is my TBR for the month of June, minus The Secret History. This is a lot of books, which I didn't realize. Let's see, what books do I have to get to? So it's kind of split in half. I have to get through these plus The Secret History because of Currently Reading-a-thon. And then these are books that I would like to get to, but not necessarily sure if it's going to happen or not. I think in order of priority, I would do No Rest for the Dead, which is the 26 author one. That just really piques my interest. The Power. Probably The Care and Feeding of Ravenously Hungry Girls, and then Leaping Wolf. And then Elias Grace I didn't put in that order because I gotta figure out if we're doing the buddy read this month or not. If we are, then obviously top of the list with No Rest for the Dead. That's my TBR. A lot of books, again. But I'm actually getting through, like, most of them, right? So that's a good thing. Oh, God. Okay. One day I will create a TBR and I will actually read the books on my TBR. I know I don't really hold myself to a TBR, but it would be nice if just one time I would make a TBR and like actually read it. Wouldn't that be great? Maybe I should try it. I should aim for this. So I'll let you know how the Currently Reading-a-thon goes. Follow me on Goodreads and or Twitter for all of my updates on my reading progress. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Until next time, see ya.